Hello, I'm Noir Nerd, and welcome to a video where I'm going to talk about my experience of university and why not doing so great at university is pretty much not even a big deal, to be honest. I studied applied computing in Manchester in 2008. I graduated with a what's known as a third class degree. It's also known as a drinker's degree in England and well, UK in general. Um, but I just wanted to say that academia and institutions are not really the way to get into like proper engineering. The way to get into being a proper coder and a proper engineer is to code a lot. That's it. That is the great secret, if you wanted to call it that. Yeah, and and it's not even that much of a revelation, right? Is it? Most programmers who really push it and really get to a place of being, good at their craft and sort of like rockstar developers or ninja developers or any other sort of archetype you want to describe, I guess, really. They get there by through hard work and sweat and sweat is the main thing. Now, I'm going to be completely honest in this vlog. This can lead to burnout. I've experienced this myself twice, once badly, once recently as well. So burnout has to be a thing you have to learn to negotiate with, and just with yourself, and just take time to rest, unplug. Unfortunately, I'd say in my university experience there was so much competitiveness in it. I found it very boring, to be honest. I found it just tiresome. Like I was not completely tiresome, and in general with the academic world, there is a lot of this veiled competition between groups, and as most of the people you're with in computer science class are guys, generally speaking. They're mostly guys, they're mostly men. That's still a thing, really, in the IT industry. Um, and there's just a lot of just basically dick measuring contests, which get very extremely tiresome. I mean, for me, I found that I just couldn't be bothered to engage on this level of, my code's better than yours, or blah 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 blah, or sort of that whole thing of like, I don't know. I mean, it's good to push yourself. It's good to learn. My actual final dissertation was on The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, which, interestingly enough, actually got me into poetry. I'm a writer, and now I combine all these things and make interactive fiction, games, and all this sort of thing. Um, my dissertation was a huge task. If anybody knows about poetry, The Wasteland is pretty tough poem to understand. So for a kid like me who was from I've written a bit of poetry. Like during college, I'd had some illness, I'd had some depression, a lot of depression. I was sort of a messed up teenager, to be honest. I just skateboarded, smoked loads of ganja, and basically got ill, essentially. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's because of the ganja, but basically, I just sort of retreated into myself too much, and yeah, I mean, essentially that was it, really. Just retreated into myself. I was a very creative time. I was making lots of music, making loads of electronic music, making loads of FL Studio music, a lot of which is still available. Actually, if you search for Statex, my first album, Static Waves from Inner Space, you can still listen to that. It's still online. I think it's been a few hundred people have heard it actually and listened to it. Um, but yeah, don't ever think that because you know you're not reaching the professor's expectations that you're not doing something, because it'll be fine. Like basically, like at the minute, I'm a bit skint at the minute actually, but I always find a way to get back on my feet. I have that sort of, I wouldn't say mercenary attitude, but I just work, 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 and work. I take no bullshit. That's generally the attitude I take towards most things in life. If I smell even a whiff of bullshit, then I'm just like, nah, nah. And this sort of standoffish attitude can sometimes land you in a bit of trouble. But you know what? I'd rather work doing something I love than, you know, just without wanting to sound like too much of a hippie, sell out to something I hate and just dislike. Anyway, this is a bit. I'm going off topic a bit now. I'm just really trying to be ridiculously honest here, which is my nature basically. Um, so university, yeah. So I'll talk a bit more about the actual things I enjoyed. I enjoyed multimedia, creative coders. That sort of makes sense. I'm very visually led. Programming was alright though. We learned about object-oriented programming. We learned about Java. Perl, bloody hell. Perl reminds me actually of that scene in Blade. It was that huge, fat, bloated vampire called Pearl. Funnily enough, I don't know if that's like some weird reference, meta reference they sort of slipped in there. I'm not sure. Anyway, but yeah, but basically, and you always have to learn new stuff. So actually, at the minute, like I'm in a weird place because with my actual programming because I'm out of focus. Oh well, what's wrong with it? So I'm a weird place with my programming because I've been a JavaScript developer for for 15 years, but properly for 10 years I'd say, and everything's going to TypeScript now, of course. All the companies are looking for TypeScript. And I've done a bit of TypeScript. I've done TypeScript on 8th Wall. I've done work on 8th Wall. I've built projects on using just vanilla JS on the 8th Wall AR platform. But the general trend now tends to be going towards TypeScript, so all the companies are looking for that. I interviewed a company recently who basically seemed a bit, did a like, nah, because he hasn't got TypeScript. And this happens a lot basically in the IT industry. It's like, oh, you know that with the latest trend, the latest library, we can't have you then. And it's remarkably frustrating because the rules constantly change all the time. The IT industry as a beast in itself is just constantly changing, constantly evolving. So you have to, it's like you're on a hamster wheel constantly. You're always having to you know, do. You just go round and round in circles with this Edgar Gavin. That's the truth of it, really. But really, just read stuff, read books when you can. I mean, this is undervalued probably even now in the IT industry. Code Academy is still probably good, but like there's something to do with it. There's something good about the tactile nature of actually drawing code. I used to just draw code all the time, write code down. In fact, I wish I could. I might one day in a future vlog. I might actually show my old university notes. I've still got them at home somewhere, and it's just reams and reams and reams and reams of thoughts, philosophy, but also drawings and writing. And I was like sort of exploring in my questions of AI even back in when I was at university. And I think in a sense, I think my tutors found me annoying because I was drawing and doodling all the time, but I was actually thinking. This is what people don't really understand about you if you're a creative coding sort of person, or if you're a sort of like lone wolf coder, which is basically what I am, is that it's all a process, right? It's a process. And, I'm slightly mad. Like, I'll talk completely honestly. Like, I am completely 100% honest. I have bipolar disorder, which, if I had to put it in a metaphorical term, it basically means I'm a bit of a werewolf. If I don't take my pill every once or 2 or 3 days, then I'm going to transform into just like a raging beast. Sort of howling at the moon madman. And that's a hard balance to get used to. And I struggled in university because of that. Like, where I had some time off university in the first year. I found my way during the second and third, but it was Um, it was a good time. Like I had a lot of partying, like I do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a lot of the really studious nerds as well. They're very they're not particularly interesting people, are they? Really, in a lot of ways. I mean, that sounds extremely judgmental, but this is just a stream of consciousness. Extremely hyper nerdy sort of boring ones. The really who don't have anything else going on apart from code are just boring people to be around in a lot of ways. Uh, I don't know, and I think in a lot of ways, university you have to help each other out as well. It's important. Like I always used to. I mean, actually, two of my really good friends from university actually never graduated. I think I was the only one of them who graduated actually, but they still taught me things, and I managed to graduate somehow. But yeah, it was a proud moment definitely when I graduated. I'll show the picture on here actually. I was a bit chubby then, but it was a good day. It was an interesting day. It was you sort of I mean I sort of just went out there and I was like, yeah, no, right, thanks, sort of thing. Basic point of this is: do you need a university degree to learn programming? No, of course not. You need to go on websites. You need to open Google Chrome Web Developer Console. You need to look at what's going on under the surface. You need to read Stack Overflow. Of course, that's a given. You need to go on Slack a lot. You need to get familiarize yourself with GitHub. You need to and all the other bloody tools that come out every bloody 2 years. Um, you need to not use jQuery in production databases because that's just a terrible idea in the year 2022. You need to use let and const if you're programming in JavaScript. You need to basically learn how to use npm. You need to learn how to basically just need to cram a bunch of that shit and like basically drink loads of coffee if you need to, if that helps you at night, and basically do that. Essentially, that's my no nonsense advice for to how to become a programmer. If you're not if you're from a working class background, or if you're from a more difficult background, or if you're from anywhere in the world, just work. It's craft. It's craft. It's craft. It's magic, really. Code is magic. So just use that, wave that wand and use it well. Actually, that brings me to my last point. Actually, I'm probably going to start doing some coding workshops soon. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully soonish. I'm waiting for some money to come in. I'm very skint at the minute, so please buy my No Hard Nerds game. It's literally 40p. You can find it below. That's what I'll say. And I think in a lot of ways I've been affected by the fact that I'm not driven by profit and money alone. A lot of IT people are. They're just driven by money, money, money. I want to make loads of bucks. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's very boring attitude. Very, 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 very boring. But a lot of the IT industry is soaked in this sort of crap. Okay, that's been a bit of a rant, but it's honestly God's honest truth. Not that I believe in God, I'm actually a non-believer. Well, technically a Satanist, but I don't actually believe in Satan or God. It's just a contrarian atheist, really. Anyway, that's my 14 minutes of truth about why academic institutions aren't that important, really, if you want to be a programmer. They're important to get a little groundswell of knowledge, but basically you learn your entire trade by basically just doing stuff. Like on the minute, I was even thinking today, just go out there, trade with others, and do. It's like literally pop into shops and say, "Do you want a website or something?" But anyway, that'll probably do. Fight the power. The power being. I don't know, these sort of dull intellectuals who seem to gather in universities a lot, basically. And I know I'm coming off as arrogant, and to be honest, I am sort of arrogant as a human being, but I've got something to back it up, so it doesn't really matter. It's very ego-filled around maybe, but sue me. In a bit, lads and lasses. Like and subscribe if you like the content, if you genuinely like it. If you leave me any really annoying, ranty, angsty comments, I'll just equally just rant back at you with some actual facts, probably. But that's that. Not a paragon of positivity, but I'm a pessimist and not all life is positive. Welcome to reality. Bye.